everyone, Walter from the World of Guitar, the channel that shows you how to play the solos, the licks, and your favorite songs. Today we're going to look at the 5 pentatonic licks in position 1 that you need to know. As always, if you like this video, don't forget to strum the like button. That really helps me out, so thank you very much. Okay, let's get into the video. If you remember my last video, I showed you pentatonic position 1, and let's review that again. We're going to be in the key of A, so we're going to start off on A, which is the root, C, which is the flat third, D, which is the fourth, E, which is the fifth, G, which is the flat seventh, A, which is the root, and again C, flat third, D, fourth, E, fifth, G, flat seventh, A, root, and C, flat third. Okay, so we look at the fingering of this. It's 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 4. So. And if you want to learn more, go back to my previous video on the minor pentatonic scale in position 1. Now let's take a look at the first lick. Okay, so this is a very common lick, been around a long time, decades, really since the start of rock and roll. Chuck Berry probably popularized it. And so basically what you're doing is you're hitting the 4th note and you're bending up to the 5th note. So in this case, we're picking D and we're bending up to E. And then we're hitting E on the next string, so the same note, but on the next string. And then we're hitting the root note of the top string. So we're taking the 4th, we're bending it to the 5th, we're hitting the 5th on the next string, and then we're hitting the root note on top. Now, if you look at my picking hand, my right hand, I might start off with the downstroke for all 3 strings. But then as I repeat this, because it's often done in repeated fashion, I'll then on the G string use an upstroke for economy of movement, and then the B and the E string, I'll play with downstrokes. Here's the second lick. What we're doing here is we're picking the 5th note of the A minor pentatonic, which is E, and we're hammering on to G, which is the flat 7th. Now again, when you hammer on to the flat 7th, that wants, in A, that wants to go somewhere. So it doesn't sound complete, it doesn't sound finished. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the 5th, hammer onto the flat 7th, and resolve by hitting the root up top. So, and again, if you watch me, because this again is done in repeated fashion, I'll start with a downstroke on the B string and then a downstroke on the E string, but then for economy of movement, I'll do an upstroke on the B string and then a downstroke on the E string once I start to repeat. So the next lick. Okay, so this one's very common, used by many guitar players. Very common lick used by Jimmy Page and Led Zeppelin. Think of their most famous song, think of the solo in that song, and that's done repeated. So what's going on there? Well, again, like the previous lick, you're starting with the 4th note and you're bending up to the 5th note. Back to the 4th, back to the flat 3rd, and then resolving by hitting the root. So in this case, we're picking D, it's bending up to E, then going back to D, down to C, and then down to A. So it's the 4th bending up to the 5th, going back to the 4th, going to the flat 3rd. It's just one pick, and then it's legato to that. It's no picking, and then we pick the root. So. Okay, let's look at the next lick. Okay, so this is a very common lick used by a lot of guitar players, creates a lot of excitement in a song. Eric Clapton has popularized it in a number of his songs. And so again, what we're doing is we're picking the flat 7th, in this case the G, and we're bending up to A, which is the root. And then we're hitting the root note above that. So in another video, I'll talk about unison notes, where you're picking the flat 7th and you're bending up to the root, but then you're also hitting the root on the string above. So anyway, in this case, what we're doing is we're picking the flat seventh and we're bending up to the root, and then we're playing the root above. And then what you're doing is you're picking the flat seventh and you're going down to the fifth, and then you're repeating that. So again, you're taking the flat seventh, you're bending up to the root, you're hitting the root, and then you're picking the flat seventh again, and then the fifth, and you're repeating that. So watch the left hand first. Now watch my right hand and how I pick. So once I get going with this, I'll do an upstroke on the B string, and a downstroke on the A string, and then an upstroke on the B string, and then a downstroke on the B string. So that's just how you can get speed. Again, economy of movement. Okay, another lick, and I'm going to go to the bridge pickup for this, involves tapping. So what we're doing is it's all on one string. In this case, it's on the B string, and we're hitting the 10th fret. We're hitting the root A. And then what we're doing is we're releasing, and I've got my ring finger, finger 3 on the 8th fret. This is G, the flat 7th. And then I'm releasing to the 5th fret, the 5th note, which is E in A minor pentatonic. So root, flat 7, and then 5. And then what you're doing is you're actually hammering onto the flat 7th again. So that's another lick, very common, popularized by Eddie Van Halen, obviously the master of tapping, and so many other guitar players have used this. So another lick that you can use when you're playing in first position pentatonic. So if you like this video, don't forget to strum the like button, and please subscribe so you know when I release another video.